Extraction shooters suck. Well, not really, because if they actually sucked, nobody would be putting thousands of hours into Escape from Tarkov. Nobody would still be playing Hunt Showdown, and games like Ark Raiders wouldn't be blowing up. So clearly, the genre works. But here's what I noticed. Every time a new extraction shooter gets announced, people get excited, they play it, and then a few months later, everyone's asking where all the players went. And I don't think that's because these games are bad. I think it's because extraction shooters ask something from players that most people simply aren't looking for. Think about almost any shooter: Call of Duty, Battlefield, Apex, Valorant. You die, respawn, queue again. Of course, losing sucks, but your progress is still there. Extraction shooters don't work like that. You spend 20 to 30, sometimes even an hour, finding better gear or finishing objectives. But then one guy hears your footsteps. With one bullet to your dome, everything you just earned belongs to them. That's a completely different kind of punishment. Here's why. You've spent 30 minutes collecting all this loot. Then this guy has been sitting here doing absolutely nothing. Bang! Congratulations, you just spent half an hour grinding for someone else's inventory. And honestly, I think the first game that ever made me experience gear fear wasn't even an extraction shooter. It was Rust. If you've played Rust, you already know. You finally craft your first decent weapon. You finally get armor, you've got a backpack full of resources, and then you leave your base. You leave thinking that, alright, today's gonna go pretty well. Then you hear one gunshot, and suddenly you're back on the beach, naked. Or your bed, still naked. Everything you worked for, gone. That feeling, that horrible feeling where you're scared to even use your best gear, that's gear fear, and extraction shooters are built around it. But for hardcore players, that's exciting. For everyone else, it's stressful. This might sound weird, but I think extraction shooters are almost too realistic. Not because of the guns, not because of the healing, but because of the emotions. Imagine this is you. You go to school, get a job, save up a bunch of money, then you walk into a casino and lose everything. That's basically an extraction shooter. You spend all this time building something, finally get some really good loot, and then one mistake or one player who's just simply better than you takes it all. Obviously, it's exaggerated, but that's the feeling. The highs are incredibly high because the lows are absolutely brutal. Now, before people get mad, I'm not saying extraction shooters are bad. If being hardcore was the problem, Escape from Tarkov would have died years ago. Instead, it's still one of the biggest names in the genre. So being hardcore isn't the issue. The issue is that hardcore games naturally appeal to few people. Most gamers don't get home after work or after school thinking, you know what sounds relaxing? Losing 3 hours of progress because someone was camping an extraction point. Most people just want to jump in, play, laugh with friends, then log off. But extraction shooters ask for patience, commitment, map knowledge, game sense, inventory management, ammo knowledge, and the willingness to lose everything. That's kinda asking for a lot. And yet, studios keep making them. Why? Because when an extraction shooter succeeds, it succeeds big. Tarkov proved there was a market. Ark Raiders proved there was still a huge audience interested in the genre. So naturally, other studios want a piece of that. But the problem is, you can't just make another extraction shooter. Players need a reason. Why should they leave the game they've already invested hundreds or even thousands of hours into? That's an incredibly difficult question to answer. So do extraction shooters suck? No, I don't think they do. I think they are some of the most intense, rewarding, and adrenaline-filled multiplayer games you can play. But I also think they ask players to accept something that most gamers simply don't enjoy. Not just the match, not just your KD, but your progress, your gear, and your time. And maybe that's why this genre will always have incredibly passionate fans, without ever becoming the next Call of Duty. And honestly, I think that's completely okay. But that's just my opinion. Maybe you love extraction shooters, maybe you absolutely hate them. Either way, let me know down below. What's the one thing that keeps you playing or keeps you away from extraction shooters? I am genuinely curious. But anyway guys, that's the video. If you guys did enjoy, you know what to do. Drop a like, subscribe to my channel. That really helps me out a lot, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let's crank out and move out.